Welcome to the relay. We're covering today's top boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this, an update to a story I talked about in my previous video. Artingstall versus Hansen has been ordered. The EBU have ordered Artingstall to face Germany's own Hansen to clash for the newly vacated European featherweight title. Artingstall was originally ordered to face Sheila Martinez, but the title is now vacant.
She was going to beat Sheila.
We talked about that fight. Now looking at this one, I happen to think the Hansen fight is a better fight than the Sheila Martinez fight would have been. I happen to think Hansen of Germany is a more put-together fighter with better form than Sheila Martinez. So this is a bit of an upgrade, at least to the eye.
Sporting a professional record of 13 wins with 2 losses, no draws, 10 knockouts, having never been knocked out in 15 professional bouts.
10 knockouts.
Yeah, Hansen. On some level, she's got some power. She's got some pop.
Better form than Spain's own Sheila Martinez, who Karis was originally supposed to be fighting. Artingstall, who sports a professional record, an unblemished record of 6 wins with no losses, no draws, 1 knockout.
But don't let that fool you. She can punch.
Her power is developing. Her power is coming along as she develops as a professional. She's not pillow-fisted.
Last in action not that long ago against Brazil's own Lila Furtado
Was earlier this year, in January. I'm going to assume that this fight with Cheyenne may take place in either late spring or early summer. Artingstall, she fought 3 times last year. She's already fought once this one. This will be her second fight of this year.
Women's featherweight division, one of the deeper divisions, one of the deeper talent-rich weight classes in the sport.
Where her amateur rival, Sky Nicholson, is set to take on Sarah Mahfoud very soon for what is the newly vacated WBC title.
Sky's gonna win.
At some point, Sky and Karis will pick up where they left off in the amateurs here in the pros, though for now, Karis does seem to be taking a more measured approach. Before challenging for world honors, she'll be fighting for the EBU title.
What does EBU stand for?
Everybody's ugly.
What?
Cheyenne Hansen, who she may end up fighting for the title, she didn't see that much action last year. She only fought once last year, and that was in May. That's the only fight she had. Before that, she fought 2 times the year before.
Currently on a 5-fight winning streak.
Though, as stated, not all that busy, not all that active in the last 12 months, and the night of, it may have been roughly a year's time since she last saw action. Artingstall is not the kind of fighter you want to go in there shaking off ring rust with. You want to be sharp, and you want to be ready.
That's working against Cheyenne,
who, as stated to the eye, she seems a better, more put-together fighter than Sheila Martinez would have been.
Solid fundamentals.
Chin tuck coming into the slight crouch, showing a jab.
The jab.
To set up the backhand in the case of Cheyenne Hansen, the right hand. Cheyenne Hansen, she's an orthodox fighter, whereas Artingstall, she's a southpaw.
It's a factor.
But you do see solid fundamentals from Cheyenne Hansen. Good jab, good setups.
Some combinations.
She doesn't try for a lot of stupid punches. She doesn't try for a lot of stupid shots or get hit with a lot of stupid shots. Punches that she shouldn't get hit with.
She's all right.
Defensively, she's all right. Better, I think, than Sheila Martinez would have been. Cheyenne Hansen.
See that?
Short left hook. Counter left hook on the inside. Scores a knockdown. She can fight. She's good. The difference, I think, is going to be...
What's going to make all the difference in a fight, difference for Artingstall, is speed and snap on the punches.
Cheyenne's got good form, good fundamentals, but in terms of a physical specimen,
Karis is better.
Faster, more snap on the punches, and because she's a southpaw,
she's got angles.
Got good physical dimensions for a featherweight. Bit of height, bit of length. She's long and limber for the weight. Those long levers. I could see her jab coming over the top of Cheyenne Hansen's jab.
To get in with the straight left.
Speed and snap on the punches with power does at times have a way of disarming an otherwise formidable opponent when so much is coming in so fast.
Karis has power, even if she doesn't have as many professional fights or as many knockouts as Cheyenne Hansen. She can punch.
So I see a situation where Cheyenne Hansen, she may be able to make things interesting because she's got more pro bouts and more rounds in the bank, more pro experience than Karis, but she doesn't have as high a ceiling as Karis, and she's not as good a physical specimen. That Karis has a real mean streak. She can box.
She seems to like hurting her opponents, wants to hurt her opponents. I think she's going to hurt Cheyenne.
What is a first look at this potential matchup conservatively, I like Karis to win, and we'll talk more about the fight as the fight date approaches. Men's super lightweight news ahead of what is supposed to be the Ryan Garcia fight. Devon Haney has welcomed a unification fight with Subriel Matias for the WBC and IBF super lightweight world titles, saying, "Y'all know what kind of fighter I am. I would fight anybody. I'm a different breed of fighter. These dudes say that, but they're not really that. I'm really that." And I like Devon Haney.
Kid's great.
But he ain't stupid. Right now, fighting Subriel Matias, that's a high-risk, low-reward fight. Right now it is. That could change over time now that he's going to be promoted by Matchroom and he's got a 5-fight deal. So if I had to guess what Devon Haney is going to do, should he beat Ryan, and I think he's going to, I would sooner expect him to pursue a fight with Teofimo Lopez, a unification match with Teofimo Lopez, before pursuing a fight with Subriel Matias. And depending on what success he does or doesn't have with Teofimo,
That will determine whether or not he fights Subriel next.
there's more money in a Lopez fight. It's an easy choice to make. There's more money, more profile, more marquee value in a Teofimo Lopez fight on the top-ranked side of things than there is fighting Subriel after Ryan.
You can circle back for Subriel. He's not going anywhere.
I wouldn't begrudge him that. I wouldn't begrudge Devon Haney pursuing Teofimo before he pursues Subriel. They're both unification matches. One is just bigger than the other. To get Teofimo, I think he'd have to go back over the top rank.
Matchroom wouldn't get in the way.
He doesn't seem to have any formal ties to Matchroom at this time that would impede his movement, impede a potential return to top rank. The fight he's about to have, that's a Golden Boy promotion show, not a Matchroom show.
You see?
So if he has to go back to top rank for Teofimo, I'm fairly confident that he can and he would. He should, because stylistically,
Devon's got the right style for Teofimo, like Subriel has the right style for him.
at least for now. Key factors. Devon is younger than Subriel Matias. He is younger.
Yes.
Key factors. This is Devon's second fight as a super lightweight. This is only his second fight at this weight. The one he's about to have with Ryan, a Teofimo Lopez fight, would presumably be the third. So that by the time he fights a Subriel, he's more acclimated to this weight, further developed a strategy to face a mid-range to inside pressure fighter, a big one, a strong one.
Because he's not there yet.
When Devon's dominating a fight, when he's having it all his way, he's fighting the fight that a pure boxer fights, staying behind the jab, moving around, controlling the distance at which the fight is being fought, and slowing the tempo down, because mid-range to inside, he is vulnerable. He's still vulnerable. We saw that in the Linares fight, the Lomachenko fight.
In the pocket.
He was able to dominate Regis Prograis and offset his power by staying out of the pocket.
He didn't trade with him.
You know, the stuff that you saw in the Lomachenko fight, the mid-range, the inside fighting, the in-fighting, he didn't do that with Regis. He was able to control him by staying on the outside, using his lead hand.
His jab.
Strategy works against a boxer puncher, a counter puncher, but against a pressure guy, it's a lot different.
You have to stop their momentum. You have to interrupt their rhythm.
To interrupt, disrupt their rhythm, you have to show more initiative than just pot-shotting from the outside behind the lead hand. There are punches you're gonna have to step into. Land with authority to slow the other guy down, but don't stay there, because that's what he wants. He wants you to stay there.
Force you to trade with him.
Said that a million times. Opposite the ring, Teofimo Lopez, I believe he'd beat Teofimo for the same reason he just beat Regis Prograis. Teofimo and Regis, they got a lot in common in terms of styles. I think people don't realize that because Teofimo's a bit sharper and a lot younger.
But he'd beat him.
He'd beat Teofimo for the same reason he just beat Regis, whereas for Subriel, he does have to tweak the strategy. That involves uncomfortable situations.
Throwing more punches and stepping into them, landing with authority. I believe that 2 to 3 fights from now, when Devon's more acclimated to this weight, he will land with more authority.
So the way it breaks down, I put the Subriel Matias fight out there 2 to 3 fights from now. Devon goes in there, takes care of business with Ryan, then fights Teofimo Lopez. Bear in mind that these are all fights that could happen in New York.
So what?
That's important. That the Ryan Garcia fight is supposed to happen at the Barclays. You could do a Lopez fight at Madison Square Garden, and you could do a Matias fight at Madison Square Garden. Those are all fights that could do good numbers in New York.
Just bouncing ideas around, but if things go well with Ryan and they do a decent gate, that's more reason to return to New York City.
Could be the site of some of Devon Haney's biggest fights. The running order: Ryan Garcia very soon, then Teofimo Lopez afterwards, then you cap it all off with a Subriel Matias fight.
That's it.
And that's the way I think it's going to happen if it does happen.
Let's get rid of crying Ryan first.
It's not worth the $35 million. Why would my friend go and lose money to put money in his pocket?
Because your friend signed the contract. Is he not supposed to honor it because the other guy's from Mexico?
Is that what you think?
Or is that what you want us to think because your friend screwed the pooch and everybody knows it? And now you're just running spin. You're just trying to save face for him.
He's from Mexico.
No,
we're
cool,
American.
cool, but let's stick to the
Right?
facts though.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a fact he would probably lose money if he does the Charlo fight, but it's also a fact that he wrote on a contract that Canelo was entitled to the $35 million to fight Charlo.
Correct. And then as a businessman, he decided for the company not to waste the money.
No, as a businessman, what he tried to do was renege on the deal. Waffle on the deal.
You expect Canelo Alvarez, the top earning boxer in the sport, to keep doing business with you when only one fight into the deal, you're reneging on it?
So
Let me ask you something.
It's still a
Wait,
breach.
let me ask you something.
Does he think yelling and becoming belligerent makes any of his points valid? Because it doesn't.
No,
Let me
but
ask
for
it's not a
facts.
breach.
Oh.
It's not a breach.
Oh, it's not? Then you tell me how Canelo was able to sign a 3-fight deal last year, and only one fight into it, he was able to walk away. How was he able to do that?
Why didn't Al Heyman hold him accountable? Why didn't he hold him to the deal?
Because he couldn't.
Why couldn't he?
Because Al Heyman couldn't hold up his end. If you tried to hold Canelo Alvarez to the deal, he would have been able to sue you for a breach of contract.
You couldn't hold him to that deal.
Vito knows that.
It's not a breach.
You're refusing to pay me.
No, it's not a breach. We didn't do the second fight. We broke ties together and let it go.
No, Canelo saw you were reneging, and he wanted to go, and you guys couldn't stop him.
Let me ask you something.
Because you don't want to live up to your end of the contract, though.
No,
the only-
Ness.
I mean,
Ness,
the
we
articles.
told him,
Go ahead.
fight for this amount. Next fight for double the amount. Work it out so let's not get hurt. How about that?
How about you pay him what you said you were going to pay him, what you agreed to pay him when you structured the deal? How about that?
How's about it?
Let's work together if we're a team. It was a partnership, Ness.
No, it was a breach of contract. It was a breach of contract that left the door open for Canelo Alvarez to leave, and you guys, you couldn't stop him.
He doesn't have to amend the deal just because the circumstances have changed. The deal hasn't changed.
What, because Heyman's boys are fucking up? Because Heyman's boys are stinking out the joint? That's not Canelo Alvarez's fault or his problem. And what you want him to do is fight a DAZN fighter.
I don't think when Canelo Alvarez walked into that 3-fight deal last year, it was so that he could fight guys from the platform that he just came from.
He signed a deal with Al Heyman so that he could fight a Golden Boy Promotions fighter, a DAZN fighter. So then what does he need Al Heyman for?
We've been all through this.
Poor man's Tony Soprano goes by the name Vito Mielnicki Sr., the spirited father of Vito Mielnicki Jr. Apparently, he went up to bat for his old buddy, Al Heyman, for what can only be described as a breach of contract.
Been a lot of people doing that.
Vito seems to have gotten himself in hot water, not for going up to bat for his old buddy Al Heyman, but for what he said about Mexicans.
It's not worth the $35 million. Why would my friend go and lose money to put money in his pocket? He's from Mexico.
So what if he is? Are you implying that because he's from Mexico, Al Heyman doesn't have to honor the contract? That you can treat him like some kind of day laborer standing outside of 7-Eleven?
Think he's a landscaper or something?
Migrant worker? You think he's a refugee? No, he's Canelo Alvarez. He's quite literally the top earning boxer in the sport, the top draw. And you think you can keep doing business with a person of this stature by reneging on the deal just one fight in?
Vito knew he fucked up, but somebody must have told him he fucked up because right after that, he issued an apology.
I truly apologize. I did not mean to offend Mexicans. What I meant was to leave the money in America. Again, I am sorry. I have zero to do with Tom Brown and TGB. I was only defending my dear friend Al, that I felt he made a smart business move again.
Oh, you think it's smart to make a commitment, then waffle on it?
I am truly sorry. I wish nothing but the best for everyone in boxing. Vito Sr.
Father of Vito Jr.
You might have seen this kid boxing on some PBC shows, and when you do something like that or you say it, You know people are gonna take it out on your son, you know that, right? Because there's only so much they can do, and there's only so much they can say about you. But your son, the one who's the boxer,
The sins of the father.
ain't gotta be Telly Savalas or Columbo to get a whiff of what the Mielnicki's attitudes towards Mexicans are. That you think Al Heyman can take those kinds of liberties on a deal that he already made based on the other guy being Mexican.
Oh?
It's a recurring theme over there at the PBC, what they think of Mexicans and saying disparaging things about them. It all stems from Floyd Mayweather and the Mayweather family.
All of it.
You see a Vito Mielnicki think that you can renege on a deal because you made the deal with a Mexican, and when a Keith Thurman starts saying disparaging things about Mexican fighters even though he's fighting an Australian,
We didn't forget about you, Keith.
these attitudes are a recurring theme over there at the PBC, and they have been for a very long time because they all stem from Floyd Mayweather and the Mayweathers.
Floyd, Roger.
Did you ever see Floyd Mayweather come out with a mock mariachi outfit wearing the Mexican colors, the Mexican flag? And how many fighters have you seen do that over the years?
Following in his footsteps.
And do you think when they do that, they're doing that to pay homage to Mexican fighters and Mexican fighting?
Is that what you think they're doing?
It's not. No, they're paying homage to Floyd, and Floyd was paying homage to his uncle, Roger, the late great Roger Mayweather, who in his day was nicknamed the Mexican Assassin on the predication that he developed a reputation for beating Mexican fighters, 6 of them, consecutively, until he ran into a wall. Until he ran into the badass of all badasses from south of the border,
El Gran Campeón.
himself, Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., who beat him from pillar to post. He wiped his ass with him. That's the part of the story they don't tell.
In Roger's defense, he had a deep respect and veneration for Julio Cesar Chavez, having shared the ring with him.
To some extent, Floyd did too, but these attitudes that you see towards Mexican fighters, they do come from Floyd.
Guys who try to be like him, sound like him.
All of that flat-footed Mexican talk, all of that stuff, that really does come from Floyd. When you hear guys say that in this day and age, and just these attitudes, most of which you see at the PBC,
PBC fans, PBC fighters.
those affiliated with them, like Vito Mielnicki. It's strange that they look down on Mexicans the way that they do when they're so obviously depending on them, since the Mexican fight fan, the Chicano fight fan, is the driving force for boxing in America. They spend the most money on the sport.
And you want to talk them down? You want to talk down their fighters?
Because Al Heyman fucked up a deal by trying to go back on it.
Such a good businessman.
It's a smart strategy. Have this guy go up there, come up to your defense by talking down the people that spend the most money on boxing. Talking down the guy that generates the most money in boxing on the premise of where he's from.
You guys are smart.
Too much business savvy, too much business acumen for me.
Wow.
Al Heyman fucked up. And you fucked up. That's why you had to apologize, but it's fallen on deaf ears. Nobody accepts your apology.
Fuck you.